11 of the carnivore diet. Steak and eggs. Really? How's anyone supposed to live like this? Started to notice that my brain is working faster. Not as tired. Feel like I'm starting to sleep better. Just really paying attention to what I put inside. Gullet. Oh, there it is. A few cravings here and there. Headache for a few days. Maybe I was dumping something. Feeling strong. Shirts are getting a little looser. This morning I was a little discouraged. I'm just gonna take that discouragement and just like, I'm gonna throw it out. And just keep going. Day 74, down 23 pounds. I can feel my energy level going up. Day 81, I'm a little hungry. Am I hungry or do I just want to eat? Get out and lift weights. Oh, I'm slimmed down. Change the way I'm thinking and the way I'm eating. 9 days left, but I don't think I can quit. Staying off the carbs and the sugars has just worked great for me. You gotta make sure you don't get hungry. Recommend it to anyone that thinks it might help them. Down 27 pounds, 90 days. Crushed it. Killed me out. Day 11. Yeah, we're live. It's an open house and there's no people. Oh, wait here a second, see if anyone shows up. I'm the world's worst hunter, even though there's antlers back here. I have been hunting all season and have got nothing. And today I think might have been my last day hunting for the entire year. Hey, Patty. But yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with hunting because I enjoy it. But then every time I go out and spend an evening or a morning, every time I spend a morning or an evening out hunting, and then I get nothing, I'm like, oh, did I waste that time? Hey, Rick's here.
Yes.
Hey.
That's weird. I can't see you. Oh, there's something weird with the StreamYard lately. Can you see me?
I can see.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm just here struggling with my usual mechanical problems.
Okay.
That's a fuel filter housing for a 7.3 Power Stroke.
Interesting.
Yep, I've been without a motorized vehicle for almost a month now. I've had to go everywhere on a bicycle.
Yeah, I mean, I was there before.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
for like 5 years because I lost my license.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Yeah.
I have my license, but I just my truck is not reliable. You know, it's got such low compression. When it gets hot, it won't start. I got to rebuild the engine, so I'm trying to get my van running, and it hasn't been on the road for 10 years. So it's a process.
Hello, Sandra. So yeah, I guess we could do Q&A if anyone has any questions about carnivore diet or Rick's story or my story or anything, or we'll see if anyone hops on here. It's always a little bit of a risk, like to be like, hey, we got a live stream open house, and if no one shows up, it would just be me here talking randomly because I'm horrible at making small talk.
That's okay. I'm always lurking around here. You know, Mr. Ducky is always waiting.
Mr. Ducky.
Mr. Ducky.
Awesome. So what have you been up to other than working on your vehicle?
Oh, just cleaning up, going through stuff, trying to get rid of some unneeded junk. And there hasn't been any work, but now all of a sudden I got two friends that have car trouble. I'm replacing a radiator for somebody, and then another one has some kind of electrical problem. So the work is coming to me, so that's good.
Nice.
This is coming together too, little by little.
Story time, please. Oh, I got. That's a very risky endeavor. Depends on which one I choose, or Rick chooses some of his stories about his ducks and stuff. Might as well put my phone on silent. Yeah, it's like 9 o'clock here. Like by the time 9 o'clock rolls around, I'm like, oh, I think it's about bedtime. So
that's always good. I don't go to bed till midnight.
Yeah, I try to make sure I get my sleep, but I was just before I got on here, I found a video on here where I was going over my 2023 goals, and it was like get down to 205 pounds, which I did not do.
Oh,
One of them was like make sure I do sit-ups every day, 5 days a week. I mean, I did not do that. I kept forgetting to do sit-ups, in
oh,
the evenings. I mean, I feel like I've had a good year, but for some reason, I was really hoping to, drop down to 205 pounds. And when I made this little thing that I did, it was like I was like 220, but now I'm like 230, 234, right in there. So I didn't hit that weight, but I also didn't starve myself to death. So I just
that's good.
I just ate meat when I wanted to eat meat, and that was that. And
I can't break the 200-pound barrier. I'm still around 190. It's hard to gain weight.
okay, yeah, yeah, I can gain weight easily. All I got to do is start eating pizza again, tacos. Yeah,
Ew, nasty duck food. Come on.
yeah, I guarantee it. I'd gain weight very fast.
I could imagine. I'd
Just-
lose weight because I'd have nonstop diarrhea and gas.
okay, well, there's that. Yeah, get sick. Yeah, yeah, I
Unless
gotta.
unless I make a pacemaker pizza, those are good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have not done the pacemaker or anything yet.
No heart attack chicken?
No.
Well,
Have-
that's good too.
Yeah.
You you got to get all the good carnivore foods. That way you'll become like me. You won't want anything else.
Yeah, I feel like I've been kind of like burnout or whatever, and I was like, well, I need a bigger vision. And
Well, it's the holidays, you have your family, people they get together. Not everyone is a hermit like me. So,
yeah,
when you get around other people, you may feel out of place if you're just eating meat. And they'll look at you like, "Well, what kind of strange person is this?" But, eventually it becomes part of your life. People accept it and they realize like when they come to my house, it's like going to the Munsters or the Adams family.
oh really? Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I can just imagine. Yeah, yeah. I'm still, you've been eating meat base for 40 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking today, like, just thinking back, well, I can't even remember 17 months ago or so. But when I started the diet, I'm like, oh, there's a diet where you can just eat meat, and supposedly, it'll change your life. And and I remember just how skeptical I was that you could actually just eat meat and survive. I was like, but if you can, that's awesome. And I look back now, I'm like, I can't believe I'm still just eating meat.
Mhm.
It still just blows me away that I'm just eating meat. And like today, I'm like, what am I gonna eat? Bacon and eggs. Okay, for breakfast. What do you eat for lunch? Nothing. What'd you eat for dinner? Bacon and eggs. I got to the point for some reason I'm just really craving bacon and eggs, and steak doesn't sound that good to me right now for some reason. I have no idea.
I think that it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
I had a tomahawk steak for the first time this year because I traded it for releasing my duck that I was going to eat. So that was really good. Now I've been craving steak, but
Mm,
steak is too expensive. So I eat the ground meat and the heart attack chicken, you can't get tired of that. I've been having that every single day because chicken's been on sale at the Presidente supermarket for 48 cents a pound. So you can't go wrong with that. Plus I got plenty of lard and tallow, so
yeah.
it's just throw the lard on the stove, turn on the fire, let it melt, throw the chicken in there, and when it smells good, it's ready to eat. You don't
Mm,
have to put anything on it. I don't use any spices. Of course,
yeah.
I'm a weirdo. I eat very basic foods and I enjoy it. But I think sometimes, I might get a craving for some seafood. I mean, a couple times I had a craving for shrimp, and I love fried shrimp, but I haven't had it in a while. And I had a craving for lobster a couple times and some crab. And, sometimes I get those seafood cravings, and I get cravings for sardines, which I know a lot of people hate, but I actually like them. But again, I have really weird taste. I was craving iguana a couple days ago. I'll find one and I'll have some iguana, you know.
Yeah. I I have not craved iguana.
Well, that's because you haven't had it.
Yeah. Just bake some chicken thighs a little fattier and so good. Yeah. Every once in a while, chicken thighs sounds good to me. Other times it doesn't. Just depends.
Chicken doesn't taste good unless it's cooked in fat, at least for me.
Hmm.
And I like deep frying it in lard or tallow. It really brings out the flavor. But when you eat baked chicken, it's really nasty. And I hate white meat chicken. White meat chicken to me is one of the nastiest meats. It's totally bland. It's I just don't like it. I don't know. A lot of people love white meat. I hate it. The only time I like white meat is when I make a pacemaker pizza. And then when I do, I mix the white meat with eggs and sometimes cheese and make a deep fried pizza crust out of it. Then I'll fill it with toppings. And that's a pizza that I like. That Papa John's and that other Pizza Crap Hut and all that. Those are nasty. They're slimy. They give you diarrhea. They don't have good flavor. But a good old pacemaker pizza, it's like a hamburger and a pizza in one. It's
So,
really good.
so again, like, what do you put on toppings for that?
Well, I use ground meat,
Okay.
sardines, sausage,
Mm.
pretty much all, and of course, lots of cheese. I'll usually use either cheddar cheese or mozzarella cheese. It looks like a regular pizza, except there's no tomato sauce generally. When I make it for my friends, I'll put my own tomato sauce, which I make from my garden grown tomatoes. I'm really not against plant material. I mean, people think that I'm 100% carnivore. And I mean, for myself, I basically am. But for other people, I don't mind cooking them fresh, whole foods. It's just
Yeah.
no duck food, please. No junk food, no processed food. If I can pick it and cook it up, I think it's perfectly fine to eat.
Hmm. Yeah. I love me some sardines. You were talking about the sardines. I actually didn't mind sardines until I went on ate sardines only for 3 days. Like,
Oh,
I've only ate one can after that. Something about it, like, I just overdid it.
yeah,
I dehydrated some too, and
yeah,
it took them like the work is like a snack, and like my hands smelled like fish, like pretty
yeah,
bad. I was like, I gave
yeah.
myself an aversion.
Well, that's it. You can't overdo it. If you
Yeah.
overdo anything, you're just going to get tired of it. Now, there's no way that I could overdo fatty steaks. I mean, I've eaten, nothing but steak for 6 months when I had it, and I never got tired of it. But there's certain things I will get tired of, and I mean, really, bacon is one thing I do get tired of. I'm not a really big fan of bacon.
Mm.
I like it in small amounts, but it's been months since I've eaten any bacon. I would rather have a cooked pork belly strip or pork skin. I love pork skins, but even that, too many pork rinds, you get tired of it. There's just certain things that you can't eat all the time. Some things I never get tired of are eggs and steak, but there are other things that I do get tired of. And I mean, I never got tired of iguana, but I've never had that many that I've had to get tired of it. So they're kind of like a rare treat.
Yeah, I found not all bacon is the same. Some bacon, I'm like, it's too salty, and it's like, I like the thicker the cut, the better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I agree.
I've always hated chicken breast. I think, I mean, it's the only chicken breast that I've ever enjoyed is like when it was cold in a salad, but then it was, had probably ranch dressing on it, or, chicken salad sandwiches, but like just by itself, like I went to Costco and I bought like a whole chicken. I'm like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
gonna eat some of this, and like, but I get to the breast, I'm like, it just ends up getting so dry, and you can't even
Yes.
swallow it. I'm like, yeah, and you know, I crave the fat. I'm like, where's the fat?
Yes.
Where's the fat here? Yeah.
Well, that's why I invented the pacemaker pizza, because that's a good use for white meat chicken, because
Mm,
you can blend it up, mix it with eggs and cheese, and it really has a nice flavor to it. It's like that way I can enjoy pizza without getting sick.
yeah. Like I was saying when we started, like it's been hunting season, so I've been busy because I'm like, it's like one hobby that I really enjoy and hate at the same time because it's like the investment in time, and I haven't did very well this year, but I'm like, okay, maybe I could start doing some of trying to be creative and try some of that stuff. But when it comes to like the pizza, I'm like, I can't eat pepperoni because it messes with my stomach. I can't
Right.
handle. I've tried to have some. I can't handle that spice, but
Right. Well, you don't need that. I don't use
yeah.
pepperoni either.
And
You
cheese
know.
and cheese is like a no go for me.
Really?
So,
Does it make you gain weight, or it doesn't agree with your stomach?
so I get inflammation.
Okay, then you
So,
better avoid it.
so when I eat dairy, like heavy cream, I haven't had heavy cream or any dairy for over a month now, and my inflammation, like shoulder pain and stuff, is is pretty much gone.
That's
You know,
good.
like I was having it was extreme, but I was having a lot of heavy cream. But I might try a little bit, but it's not worth the pain.
Yes. Have
But
you ever tried making your own yogurt at home?
no, but I, I mean, it's just I might be able to handle yogurt because it's cultured.
Right.
Yeah,
I would try that just as out of curiosity.
yeah.
It's easy to make and give it a try. And if it doesn't work, then don't eat it. It's like I tell everybody. I got a friend that's converting from veganism to keto, sort of a ketovore diet,
Mhm.
and he's holding on to the vegetables, but he's up to
Yeah,
about 60% meat now and 40% vegetables. I said, once you hit 70% meat, you'll be a carnivore, in my opinion. He's doing fantastic. He is just, I mean, all I hear is how great he feels. He had some kind of back pain. It went away. He had some eye issues. Said he
yeah.
was getting like spots in his eyes and he would get tired and he'd get upset and nervous and it all went away. He says, I can't believe it. Just by increasing the amount of meat that I eat, I feel better. And I said, well, hey, if it works for you, try it. If you're doing good and you like eating them vegetables and they're not bothering you, just keep eating them. That's all. The thing is, he got rid of all the raw vegetables, and the only vegetables he eats now are cooked with meat, and
Okay.
it made a big difference, let me tell you.
I bet it did. Yeah, I bet it did because then he's getting adequate nutrition, and if he still wants to hold on to like that massive poop every day with those vegetables and the gas, so you can clear a room whenever you want.
Well,
But
according
with
to what he's told me, the gas is not even a thing anymore. He
I
doesn't have
mean,
that
yeah,
gas.
it probably depends on the person. But my wife has been adding cabbage back in. She's been eating ground meat and cabbage for like every single meal because she
Oh,
wants to have the vegetables. I'm like, well, it's like a whole food. If you want to add that, I mean, that it's compared to Oreos and all these
yeah.
processed foods and stuff. It's like, okay, eat the cabbage. I'll sign
Make
up.
sauerkraut. Make sauerkraut.
Yeah, yeah. She doesn't
It's,
like it.
oh, okay.
I like sauerkraut. I've actually had some on this diet a couple of times where you can find one, which is always the most expensive one. But
It's cheap to make.
yeah, I need to learn how to make that. But it's like cabbage, salt, and water.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's it.
I have ulcerative colitis. I've done keto before and 3 days in the carnivore in hopes for a solution. Doctor said to eat whatever I want and give me anti-inflammatory drugs after charging me for the. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, I, I don't know too much about ulcerative colitis, but give yourself a chance on the carnivore diet. And when the doctor says to eat whatever you want and just take the pill, I would. That's very suspect. I mean, what do the kids call it? That's completely sus. Yeah, that's no.
Well, it's like my friend, they said he had IBS, which I guess is similar, but the
Mhm.
symptoms are going away. He's been eating this diet now for about 2, 3 months, and it's going away. He doesn't have all the urge to go to the bathroom, the gas, and the intestinal pain is gone. And that's not even a carnivore diet. It's a like I said, it's a ketovore diet.
Yeah,
It's just get rid of all the veggies and the fruits and all the other stuff, and just have a few cooked veggies with meat and a few fermented foods. It seems to work for some people.
I see that he posted. I'm going to go back to this other one, but he said he's feeling fatigue right now. Can't tell if it's lack of carbs or I caught a local bug. But if you've been on the carnivore diet for a few days, you're probably running out of glycogen. Your body's going to be running a little slow. But just keep with it because if you're having like those issues and the carnivore diet like can fix it, let's say 90 days down the road, 10 weeks down the road, you feel better and you want to maybe like slowly add in, like whole foods to your diet. You can do it that way. That's like what my wife has been doing. But then if you get a flare up, okay, maybe this food is not good for me. And it's crazy to me like how many things can be diet related and us just not even know it. It could just be like I didn't realize that anything spicy just messed with me. So
Hmm.
and cheese.
Well, maybe you're lactose intolerant.
Yeah, I think I might just be plain intolerant.
Okay.
um, I just bought a chuck roast on sale today. What is the best way to cook it? What do you think, Rick?
It depends on your taste. Normally, you could just stick it in the oven, but if you don't have an oven, you can cook it on the stove. You just get a pot big enough to fit the chuck roast in there, and then you can put some water in there, and you can stew it, or you could even roast it. I mean, I've roasted chuck roast on the stove. Just put it in a cast iron pot up on one of those little metal grates that holds it up off the bottom, and then just keep checking on it. I normally cook by the way it sounds and the way it smells. So you'll hear it sort of sizzling, and you can smell it. You know when it's getting ready to overcook because you can smell that too. But the best way, I mean, you could do it in the oven or you could do it in a barbecue grill. I've done it on a rotisserie, but if you don't have that, just do it on the stove.
Yeah. So you kind of cook it just as like a pot roast. Well, not a
Yeah,
pot roast, like just a plain roast, like roast beef.
right, like a roast beef, exactly.
Yeah, you thin slice it. Yeah, the braising, it's always a good option.
Yes.
I'm a firm. I love my sous vide machine, so I'll take big chunks of chuck and I'll sous vide it for 24 hours, 48 hours, and so it gets it all the temp, and then I'll just slice it and sear it really quick, and it'll like crisp up that fat. Then you get like a pot roast flavor, but it's not all the way cooked through. I don't like. Yeah, I've ate a lot of chuck roast because it's very cheap, compared to ribeye. Stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Bone-in chicken thighs with skin are good baked with this. Yeah, crispy. That's a good. You know, uh, I've got to remember that. I love chicken skin, crisped up chicken skin. I don't have it very often.
Mhm.
Chicken breast can be dry. I love chuck roast and thin sliced sirloin. Yeah.
Remember, if you want crispy skin chicken, fry your chicken in lard or tallow. It'll be crispy and delicious, guaranteed.
Yeah, so I just ordered some more tallow. Don't tell my wife, so she's watching this. And then I also bought some duck fat.
Ah, that's good too. Duck fat is excellent.
And I also have some other fat in my kitchen that I have not unveiled yet. It's
Mhm.
it's hump fat from camel
Oh, that's an exotic one.
because camels are ruminant animals.
Yes.
And it smells exactly like lamb. Very strong. So a little bit scared to use it.
Well, it
I'll
shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, I'll put it in a video. I know my wife won't touch it if it tastes like lamb.
She doesn't like lamb.
No.
Lamb is a very delicious meat. I haven't had it in a while, but I remember it tasted good.
I've been eating tri-tip my whole life, 20 minutes on each side on the grill, excellent. But last week I slow cooked a tri-tip in the crock pot and it was, oh my, yeah. Yeah. It For me, when it comes to like braised meat, when it starts getting cold, well, you're in Florida, so but like that's when I start craving like pot roast type meals and stuff like that.
The very few times that it ever got nice and cool here, that's usually when I would roast something in the oven, and it would be, either a beef roast or, I might make a big pizza in there, a pacemaker pizza, or even a turkey, a roast turkey. But most of the time with poultry, I like to section it up and just fry it in lard or tallow. That's how I like to cook my duck or turkey. I got a frozen turkey a friend of mine gave me at Thanksgiving. One of these days, I'll defrost it and cook it up in some lard.
Okay. Yeah, I got one too. I bought
There
two
you
and
go.
we only cooked one. I
How'd
cooked
you cook it?
so I had just smoked my turkey
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I misjudged it because
Oh, no.
I don't have a fancy smoker. Uh, I just have like a plain Jane electric one because my fancy one died and I'm never spending that much money again. Uh, but I overcooked it.
Yeah.
It was still good, but I was like, it was done 3 hours before it needed to be. But
Y
fortunately, I was also cooking bone-in ribeye,
There you go.
so no one cried.
Yeah, the thing about poultry is if you're going to smoke it, it has to be marinated. It has to be moistened up because otherwise it'll dry out. It'll be like leather. It's just terrible.
Well,
You really, yeah,
I did brine it. Well, I put it in a bucket of salt water, like a
yeah,
5 gallon bucket, for about three days.
okay.
Just cooked it in there, and but I don't know if it helped because it was overcooked.
Well, if you're going to overcook it, nothing will help.
Yeah, I cooked choke roast in an instant pot. Yeah, so if you have an instant pot or a pressure cooker, you can make pot roast from a chuck steak like very quickly. She said 60 to 80 minutes. I've cooked them in 30 minutes. It was like amazing. Now, if you could do it lower and slower, you will get more of a robust flavor, but hey, time is money.
That's right.
Hey, Tracy. Hey, Ron's here.
Oh,
I slow cook my chuck roast in the oven 250 degrees in a black speckled roasting pan. Yeah, sounds good to me. I'll bring Ron in here. Hey, Ron.
Hello.
mm. There we go.
Sorry, I was just setting this all up. How are you guys?
Good.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yeah, doing a little mechanical work.
I was doing a little chef prep work, and I looked down at my phone. I said, "Oh no, he's on live tonight." So I
Yeah.
was getting ready to do that. How did y'all's Thanksgiving go?
Other than overcooking a turkey, it was great.
How did you overcook the turkey? Did you leave it in the oven too long, or did you do it a different way?
I misjudged the timing and the heat on my smoker.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, no one died. So,
No fire
Just a
department.
little tough.
yeah.
Did you
That's
have a
it.
backup?
Yeah. Well, I had bone in ribeye.
There you go.
It's
Yeah.
always a good backup.
Oh yeah.
I got backup as a backup. So yeah.
Yeah, we had two Thanksgivings. We had one with my family, and then we had one just the four of us on Saturday. So it was really good. It was really good because I was able to stay within Carnivore the whole time. So
That's awesome.
It's
yeah,
good.
So let me see. I want to pull this one thing up. He says, I combine kratom to use with carnivore diet. What is kratom? Does anyone know what that is?
I have never heard of kratom.
That's some
Let me
kind
look
of
it up.
herb that people use as a drug for like what is it? Some kind of anxiety or something. It's a plant,
It
basically.
is a plant.
Yeah.
It's the super plant, is what Mr. Google tells me.
It's a sedative.
Yeah.
Oh, is a plant from Southeast Asia that has both opioid like and stimulant like effects depending on the dose.
Wow. That
Yeah.
made for a very interesting time. Oh, psychedelic. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you happy. My wife eats cabbage, so I wonder if there's opium in that.
No, not in cabbage.
No, no. There's
That
a
was
lot of things in it, but that's not one of them.
Oh, so they use it as a plant that people use it to kick opioid addiction. Okay, that's good. I actually have a guy that works for me that is having opioid withdrawals right now because he was in the hospital all week with kidney stones.
Hmm.
And they gave him, opioids, and now he's not feeling that great.
Mm.
So, Ron,
Yes, sir.
I saw that you had some big news.
Oh, you saw? I
Yeah,
was wondering if you saw.
I saw it, and I was going to come back and say something, then I forgot. And then I was like, well, if I see him coming in here, I'll let you
Yeah.
be the person that says it.
that says it that I was shocked when I weighed myself.
Oh, I thought you said your hair was growing back.
Well, no, that I think that's too far gone, to be honest with you, to be growing back. I think that would almost be like other than being follically challenged, I think that would have to be something God would have to slap my head and make it grow again, to be honest with you, because
Yeah.
it's genetics. I don't think I can grow again. But I did lose some weight. I
Yeah.
was very shocked when I weighed myself. That bird in your background is going to drive me nuts on on this thing
Oh,
when I'm looking. That
oh
bird
yeah.
that flies by every once in a while.
It messes me too.
I always think there's a fly loose in my house when I see that thing. Okay, I can deal with that. But yeah, I actually weighed myself and I am down to um 330 pounds. I've lost 110 pounds now.
What
So
the-
I jumped past the 100 pounds and went to 110.
Wow.
And it was totally just a shock to me when I got on the scale.
Oh, the images are back. Interesting.
The
I
images.
couldn't see anyone, but now I can.
Oh,
because my background messing everything up for you?
I guess, yeah, the virtual background is all I saw. It's weird.
that is weird.
Yeah, well, you get this fancy technology. Well, man, Ron, I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
Mm.
Well, I am. Thanks, Susan. I appreciate it. Um, I'm not. I don't want people to, feel proud or anything like that. I'm just. I want people to know it can be done.
Okay.
That you can, accomplish things that you without having to, you know, do the things that you don't need to do. You can actually follow this plan and actually lose weight. I mean, I was stalled out for over a month and a half,
Mhm.
and finally, it's starting to go again. So I know people can get discouraged. I know people can, when they don't see it, they're like, why even bother? I'm not doing this strictly to lose weight. I'm doing this for better health. If
Okay.
the weight comes with it, the weight comes with it. But I feel so much better. Um, I
Mhm.
don't have all the cravings I had before. I don't have all the, just the slugginess and everything that I had before. Even though I'm 330 pounds now, I mean, I feel totally different than I did. I even
Slugginess.
feel totally different than I did 10 years ago. Um, a picture came up. I don't know if y'all have Prime or anything like that where it backs up your photos and all that. Well, if you have a Fire Stick, it'll start showing pictures that you've put to the cloud. And my wife and I were sitting there, and a picture came up from 2018, and it was the back of me in 2018. And I was like, what date does that show at the bottom of the screen? And she's like, oh, that's 2000, June 18th, 2018. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I didn't realize what I looked like from the back.
Hmm.
And it was just eye opening that I would look like that even in 2018. I don't even know what I weighed in 2018, but it was a
Wow.
lot bigger than I am now. So I was, yeah, but it was just amazing to see. And hey, Ellie,
Really?
how are
Ah,
you?
Ellie's here.
Yeah. And Susan's right. Weight loss is the bonus. I am stoked about losing weight, but I'm more stoked to how I feel
Hmm.
because you can't replace how you feel. I mean, you can always change the way you look on the outside, but the way you feel on the inside, shoot, man, it's nobody can describe that. Nobody can relate to that. I mean, if you just have to feel it to know that feeling inside of you to actually feel better. And that's just the awesome thing. Um, I missed last week because of course Thanksgiving and everything. I was looking at I wonder if he's going to do it. And you took a break, and
Yeah.
I was glad we took a break. But you know, people need to know you can stick with it and just live your life. You don't have to worry about what other people think. I was watching Dante the other day, and somebody said, "Well, how do you handle people that don't agree with this way of eating? Family that don't agree with this way of eating?" And you finally just have to say to yourself, well, "What am I going to do that helps me?" And not worry about what other people think. It's the whole thing too about even addiction. Sometimes we get addicted to things because of we try things because people influence us. Well, we have to actually do it, eat this way because of we don't want to do those things. We don't want to do the addiction. We don't want to follow our cravings and things like that. Who's Storm Lily? I don't think I've seen.
She I think she's some kind of gangbanger. She always sends me these weird gang signs and all these things.
Oh, this is the one that's inside.
A supporter of her channel.
Yeah.
GS Mothers was the name before. But yeah.
Oh, okay. She's laughing at you now.
Yeah, because I'm a pen. But, I mean, yeah, that's I like that, Ron. I really like that. I shared that story the other day on a video, but I was at church this Sunday, and my buddy that I hadn't seen for a while, like I saw him far off, but I didn't notice. I saw him up close. I'm like, "You lost a bunch of weight." He's like, "Yeah, I lost." He just messaged me yesterday, said he's up to 40 pounds lost. So he lost 40 pounds in 4 months.
Yeah.
And he went on a carnivore diet because he watched some stuff on my channel. He's like, "Oh, I saw you doing it," and he's probably skeptical, but then he tried it, and now, but he hid it from me. He hid the fact that he was on the diet, like, until he got some results, and then he was like, "It's like I was hoping to run into you." I was like, I don't know. There's something about. I'm not saying you can't be vocal and say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing," but I think sometimes, you just need to put your head down and start, come up with a big, good vision for your life and where you're going to go. And you do the work and don't worry about what everyone else is thinking or doing or wanting you to do. You have to end up just doing it. Set in your heart to do it. Take the step, do the hard stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, because that's how you can do it. If you're waiting for everyone else to kind of like drag you through it or push you through it, sometimes you can use a little bit of help, but man, like, you need to get the ball rolling first. And it was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I was just like, I'm at this point, I'm like, I don't care if he even gains all the weight back, because at least now I know that he's tried and he's felt some healing from, because he's said he suffered with food addiction, where he hasn't gone more than 2 hours unless he was sleeping without food. He's always snacking on something, always eating something. He's always hungry, but he's like, his brain reset.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now sky's the limit, because even if you went off diet, gained the weight back, I know you could get back on it, because now you're forever different, because you know what it feels like to have adequate nutrition, have actual satiety, not be hungry all the time, not have that food have control over you. So he's probably not going to go back to that. But I was like, at this point, he doesn't need my help.
Did you watch Dante's video where he was reviewing that Dr. Ludwig?
I saw part of it. It was a very long video.
It was like 17 minutes was his.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
The guy, he just shrunk it down.
Okay.
He was looking at another guy's video of him, but they're talking about basically addiction and sugar addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking to somebody, asked him a question one time about, what do you think about the people, that, just take eat sugar every once in a while or something like that, or just partake in sugar. And he says, well, I look at like this, he said, asked him if that was bad, because he said sugar is poison. And the guy asked him, said, well, what about people that just take it every once in a while or something, like, don't do it all the time, but is that a bad thing? And he says, well, I look at like an alcoholic or alcohol. You have social drinkers, and then you have alcoholics. Social drinkers, do you think it's really going to hurt them when they drink 1 or 2 drinks every once in a while? But for an alcoholic to take a drink every once in a while, then it can be detrimental to them because it can just explode and go from there. But a social drinker that can handle it and do things like that and only have a drink once in a while, it's not a big deal. It's the same thing with sugar. If you have a piece of cake or a piece of pie or something like that at Thanksgiving for somebody who's not a sugar addict or a carb addict, it's not a big deal and they can recover fairly quickly. But somebody like me or that is addicted to sugar and carbs, if I were to take part in just a little piece, then I would probably go on and take another one, then another one, kind of like what Dante did. Dante said, he's a sugar addict, and he started off. He had a piece of pecan pie. He had a piece of, I think he said,
Pumpkin pie.
pumpkin pie and apple pie or something. Like he had 3 pieces of pie when he was finally done, and he
Mhm.
felt miserable. So
Yeah.
he couldn't just do just 1 piece of pie. He actually had 3, and I tried to stay away from that during the holidays because my mom's a great cook. I mean, she can cook like you wouldn't believe. And so Thanksgiving, my thing is, I see all the stuff. I see all the sides. I see the desserts. I see everything.
Mhm.
It's all there. Now, I could theoretically just take a piece of this and probably won't hurt me physically. Mentally, it would probably throw me for a loop
Yeah.
because my dopamine would have been all shot to pieces and everything else, and it would have been kicking in, and I would have, oh, that was so good. And take another one. Oh, what's the big deal? It's just one day, it's just one time. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
And so I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I don't need to do it. I'm not craving it. I'm just looking at it thinking, what if I did? And it's like, it's not worth it. It's not worth going down that road. And that's the thing about it is that it's a poison. Sugar is a poison to a lot of people, in that, yeah, some people can do 1 or 2 times and recover, but I may do it and then I may not recover for a few days. And sometimes it could be even a week, a month, and you're off, you're off track. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I feel terrible. I need to get back on track. I need to get back into it. But like, I've tried different diets. I've tried keto. I've tried Atkins. I've tried Weight Watchers. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am right now if they worked, But this was the only time that I was able to make it through Thanksgiving without any regrets. And
Hmm.
the only thing that, you know, I was I was actually glad when I was done that I was like, yes, I've made it. Yes, I've done it. And then when Saturday rolled around and we had dinner with my family, with, my immediate family, my wife and my kids, we had bone-in rib roast, we had turkey, we had a duck.
Duck.
Yes, duck. Yes, we had a duck. And then I made Chris cooking Nashville's made his mashed potatoes, and I made his dressing. And we had, I mean, my wife, she was like, I didn't know how the dressing would be, but because it's the first time I made it. And she was like, the texture's awesome, the flavor's great. This is, I would even thought this was, carnivore. And we didn't have the dessert and everything like that. And it was just nice to get through this holiday without having those feelings of ugh,
Mm.
or just weighted down.
Hmm.
And then to get on and look at the scale and go, oh my gosh, I've actually lost weight. I didn't even read that. What did she say? You're right. I can moderate sweets, but potato, spaghetti, popcorn, fried rice, no way.
Duck
Well,
food.
the reason why is because it your mind.
Yeah.
It's the whole dopamine thing. Um, it you get that hit and you just want more and more and more.
That's
And
more like me. That's like more like me. Like when it comes to sweets, I rarely ever
yeah.
care for sweets, but like potatoes, spaghetti,
Oh yeah.
a burrito, you know,
My
that's the
mom's
whole
dressing, I would have been all over that. I
yeah.
would have been, I mean, I would have hit that, hit it again. You know, the mashed potatoes, I would have hit
Ew.
that. I could go with like one piece of pie or something like that, but all that other stuff, oh Lord have mercy.
Mm,
It's amazing that people actually like mashed potatoes. They're nasty.
mm.
I was going to ask y'all this last time. Who were, what would you have thought of if you were the first person to try a particular food item? I mean, like, think about the person who ate the potato that was actually raw the first time.
Well, I'm pretty sure potatoes I thought,
Toxic.
yeah,
Yes, that's what I'm
weren't the
saying.
original
Well, I mean,
potatoes weren't the original potatoes toxic and like
yeah, that's what I'm
Australia?
saying. The person killed over, and then they decided to cook it and see if that would make it better.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first person that tried it was very anxious.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. If you were the first person to try the certain type of food and
Yeah.
say, "Oh, this is good," and pass it on, you know,
I'd feed it to
or
my dog first.
Or duck.
or
Or,
they say, "Oh, these animals are dead by this bush. We better not eat those."
I don't understand why people like spaghetti and rice and potatoes. They're all nasty foods.
yeah.
They go crazy for them. It's like, why would you waste your time with that when you could have the beef, the chicken, the duck, iguana, or whatever, but not
If
all that
spaghetti was
nasty.
so good, you would eat it plain, right? You
What
wouldn't
is
have
that?
to have the tomato sauce. You wouldn't have
Uh,
to have the Alfredo.
I mean
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I
that's
mean,
right.
why don't you just sit there and eat a handful of spaghetti? You know, why do you have to have all the sauce on it and everything? You know, and
Exactly.
rice, you don't eat a handful of rice. You usually put butter on it, or some people put sugar on rice, or
I
they'll
know
even.
people that put ketchup on
I
rice.
know this is. I mean, you have to doctor it up. Now you can actually take a piece of meat and not put
Mm.
anything on it, and it's good. I mean,
Oh, it's
salt
great.
enhances it, but
Yeah.
just I mean, you can
Oh,
eat any piece of meat without any kind of seasoning, and it's still good.
That's right.
So I don't get it. You know, if you can't eat it just the way it is, you shouldn't be eating it.
I always thought it was more a necessity because it's hard to get a good amount of meat, especially if you're catching wild animals. But plants are a lot easier to cultivate and eat, so you can have a steady stream of plant material and then just supplement your meat with it. I think that's what it was. At least that's the way I saw it.
Yeah,
hmm.
But I guess the food industry figured out ways to make that stuff addictive, so people love to eat it. And I see them snacking all the time on this Franken Chem food that comes in bags and boxes. And I wouldn't even feed it to a duck unless I had to. But I'll tell you, they go crazy for it. I rode every time I ride my bike to the Harbor Freight. Now I go by the Chick-fil-A, and people are lined up there. They got cars after cars. Like wow. And the food smells so nasty. It has that nasty fast food smell. You know how when you go by a McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, you smell that fast food smell? It's disgusting. And people line up for it.
yep, they do, and
That
that's
Yeah.
deep fried, it's nasty.
Potatoes used to be poisonous. I wasn't making that up.
no. Yeah, I knew you weren't.
Well, I gotta check myself, man. I just make stuff up.
You just fact checked yourself.
Yeah.
There you go.
Who needs Facebook when you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I was gonna say too that isn't it when like on your Facebook page or anything like that when like I have my personal Facebook and then I have my Overcoming Carbs Facebook.
Mhm.
But when somebody I know in my past actually requests to be a friend on my Overcoming Carbs Facebook,
Uh-huh.
it's like one of those things where you're going, you know, wow, you know, it's a wow moment because they knew me in my past and they knew everything that I've been through in my life basically, and now they're wanting to see what I'm doing now on this. And to me, that's like it's totally different than just some stranger joining. When somebody knows you and joins and wants
Mhm.
to see what's going on and things like that, like your friend that saw you at church and said, "Hey, I watched your video and
Mhm.
I started doing it without even telling you." Um, that's part of the reason why I did my channel was because of things like what you had. because I want people to hold me accountable for the way I used to be, for the way I used to eat, for what I used to do. Because if I can get them to see what I'm doing and how this way of eating is changing me, then maybe they will do the same. I'm not going to sit there and, you know, poke people and make them do things. They have to
Yeah.
make that decision on their own. Um, you have to come to the conclusion that this is something that you want to do for yourself. And I'm not saying that carnivore is the only way or eating meat's the only way. Everybody has to decide how they want to live their life. And that's what God allowed us to do. We have the will, the free will to make any decision that we like, and we can eat any way we like. And we're not to put people down for how they decide to eat. He says in there that basically it is not for us to condemn somebody for the way they eat and for the way they eat that's not just like us.
Yeah.
Um, so if somebody wants to be a vegetarian, they can be a vegetarian. I'm not going to diss them for being a vegetarian. If they want to be a ketovore, more power to you. If it works for you, do ketovore. If you want to do just low carb, more power to you. If you want to eat 50, 70, 80 carbs a day, go for it. If it works for you, do it. I'm telling you what's working for me. And all those things didn't work for me. What works for me right now is eliminating everything and just eating meat and animal products. And that's what works for me. You may be totally different. And I'm not going to say that you're wrong for eating vegetables. I'm not going to do that. Or if you ate vegetables one time, meat is the only way. Everyone else is wrong. Okay. Okay. You can say it. I'm not going to say it because, I mean, it's in your name, keto. You're going to eat other things.
Yeah, that's
So,
that,
anyway, I get
yeah,
off
I
my
mean,
soapbox.
but yeah.
Pass the plate.
Yeah, I mean, I just the reason like I keep promoting stuff is because I've enjoyed the change in my brain and the way I think about food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know that there's other people that would really benefit, but I'm not a used car salesman. I
Mm-mm.
don't try to push people, I don't try to coerce people. Like that's just not my style. I don't try to manipulate people into things in real life. And I never want to make anyone feel like crap. Right. And like I was talking to someone else the other day and they're like not doing very well. I'm like, well, I waited till I was 43 years old. So, you know, who am I to say anything? Because I did, I ate not carnivore till I was 43.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah. See, you're at 43. I'm at 53. So,
Yeah.
I went
Hey,
a
I'm
whole
the
lot
old
longer.
one here.
I know,
I'm older than all of you.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. And you don't have you got your hair and I don't see any gray. There are a couple pieces. No,
maybe in there somewhere.
it's maybe in his beard.
Maybe. I
I,
mean, I
I
got
I
plenty
let that
here.
grow. I don't even see. There's a couple, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have I don't have gray hair. I've looked all over. I looked all over the place. There's just none of it.
Yeah.
What
Maybe.
are you? Are you Italian?
No, no, I'm not Italian. My mother's family was Hungarian, and my dad's family was from Spain. So I'm France. I got a weird mix.
Yeah,
I'm an oddball.
you got a Euro blend, huh?
Yeah, I got a little of everything from there.
I don't mind it. It's a sign of wisdom, supposedly.
Well,
You
you
know
know
what?
what?
There's
What?
nothing wrong with gray hair. If you got a good physique and you're healthy, it actually enhances you. You see some of these, so like you got what is that, Doctor? Oh, that one that's always talking about fermented foods and carnivore. I'm trying to remember. Oh, not
Mm,
O'Brien. It's something whatever. He's got gray hair. There's a few of them out there that have gray hair. They look
oh,
fine.
the guy that's really adamant about getting rid of visceral fat.
That's the one. Yes, O'Mara or something.
Mara.
Sean O'Mara.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got gray hair and he looks pretty good. So
That's the guy that made me start doing sprinting up the hills. Thanks a lot, buddy. but but I
what?
but
Okay.
he's just saying like, longer cardio workouts will like you'll burn the fat like subcutaneous fat, but like if you want to get rid of visceral fat, you need to do like hit workouts and like just brief running fast. And I was like, I actually enjoy that because the feeling of like not being able to catch your breath is like horrendous. But you just sprint a little bit and you're like, okay, that wasn't too bad. And then walk it off. I was like, yeah, 6 to 8 second sprint. Yeah.
How do you get to the point where you run out of breath? I mean, usually your muscles will tense up before you get to that point. You just get
I'm,
tired out.
I'm 6'4". My heart is small for my body or something.
Well, I'm 6'6" and I don't get out
Are
of
you really?
breath ever.
You got a Grinch heart?
I don't know. Like actually I can run way better than I used to, but like there's like, yeah.
I've run after ducks and iguanas back and forth and back and forth, and I don't get out of breath. It's just that eventually the muscles just get slow down. They get kind of tired and they may hurt a little bit and slow down, and that's it. But getting out of breath, that doesn't happen to me. I guess everybody's different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just
I was pushing my truck one time. I had to go like a quarter mile to push it to the house because it broke down and my legs were hurting and I still wasn't out of breath. It's weird.
yeah. I lose my breath, but I can run way better than I used to. Losing the
That's
weight
good.
helped.
Absolutely. Well, man, not only that, I think that it's not just losing the weight, it's just you become more metabolically healthy and then the weight kind of comes off as a side effect. I've seen people that are overweight and they still are relatively healthy. Just because you have a little extra weight doesn't mean you're unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think some of those BMI scales are way off. I know Dr. Ken Berry did a video once saying that, like 27% body fat is probably perfect for most people. You need a little bit of fat on your body, and he's either telling the truth or he's just saying that because he has a little bit of fat and doesn't want to.
He's at 27%.
That's where that's where my body went to automatically. Just about that percentage of BMI is where my body went on carnivore, and this is where it's wanted to stay.
Yeah.
The last time I was weighed underwater, they said it was 15.6% fat.
What did you say?
The last time I was weighed underwater
Uh,
compared to regular weight, it was 15%, 15.6% body fat.
yeah,
That was a few years
Wow.
ago.
yeah, you're super lean. Yeah,
So,
Rick. Someone wants to know how old you are.
55. I'm 55.
oh, you're just barely older than me. You're the same age as my wife. So,
Aaron, you are too nice. LOL. Might want to be more confident that people need to drop plants, otherwise, they just won't see the advantages. And no, I'm a 100% advocate of someone that at least go 90 days
yes,
eating
elimination.
just meat, the C, and eliminate it all from their diet to
Mhm.
C. And then if they want to add some back in, there's some that I would say maybe try, and one's definitely not try when it comes to whole foods and stuff like that. But it depends on who you are,
Mhm.
what your triggers are. Um,
If you're a vegan, don't do it. Trust me. Don't go carnivore if you're a vegan. Big mistake.
yeah,
Transition. If you want to be
Yeah.
smart, transition.
Go to low carb, then go to
Lo-
keto, then go to
right.
ketovore, and then go to carnivore. Take it
That's how
slow.
you do it. You can
Yep.
avoid it because if you've been eating vegetables your whole life, I could only imagine all the plant
Oh my
toxins that are built
gosh.
up. It's especially those raw vegans. They're the
Oh,
worst. I mean, they seem to be sick all the time. All they do is complain about my stomach and I don't have any energy and I feel terrible. And yeah, you're eating nothing but plants. I mean, you're not a cow. Eat
yeah,
some real food.
I don't watch very many vegan things. I had one video that I came out with that all the vegans watched it, and like people did reaction videos to it and like roasted me, and so that was fun.
now Francis said he was what on day 28 up there. I think.
Okay, I
I
missed
just
that.
want to know. I just want to know from Francis if he put in the comments basically what hurdles are what has he experienced in the 20 or she? I'm sorry, could be he or she,
Yeah.
have they experienced in those on the 28th day? What are they experiencing right now?
Hmm.
Because I've been on this for 6 months, so I can't remember what it was at 28 days.
Well, yeah, yeah. Ron has that question. What do you guys think? Cycle carnivore with keto 2 months and carnivore, then 2 months, then on keto. You know, I would say try to do 90 days carnivore first before you would even consider that. See how you feel. See if what happened to me is like I was like, there's no way I can stop this.
Mm,
I had a pickle the other day, that didn't throw me off the rails,
right.
just plain pickle. But it was like, but then I was like, I'm gonna go to ketovore after a year on the diet, because that was like, this threshold. And then I looked up ketovore and it was like 10 grams of carbs per day. I'm
Right.
like, well, this is pointless because whatever. That's like nothing. you know, I'm
Yeah.
I'm getting 10 carbs per day eating eggs.
hmm
You know?
I, my thing is that just like we were talking about, do it for 90 days. Then add, if you want to try adding something back, add one thing back and do that for a week
Yeah.
and see how your body responds. If that you have a reaction to that or you feel bad about that, then take it out and
Yeah.
wait about a week and add something else in until you get that out of your system. But I wouldn't just go, you know, boots in on going, just changing my diet, going and just adding like 20 or 30 carbs in for 2 months and then taking them back out for 2 months. That
I
you're
will.
not going to learn anything about what you're reacting to at that point.
I mean, don't worry that far out. Just give yourself a good goal. Try to get to the 90 days and see how you feel, then reassess at that point.
Right.
Don't prime the gears to potentially get off the diet, you know, because I think there's a good chance you'll get to that point and you'll be like, this is my new way of eating, and you'll think completely different then than you're thinking right now. So don't make the decisions now that you're going to need to make then when you're thinking differently. Yeah. So yeah, just see how you feel, because at least from my experience, when I got to that point, I was like, "There's no way I can stop. There's no way I can stop this."
Right.
And then I had to realize, like, that I had to like bury a dear friend.
Yeah. Also, he's asking about coffee. That's hard to go off cold turkey. The main thing you need to do, and I've discovered this too through this process, is that you should get off of caffeine,
Yeah,
because caffeine, if you're going, I wouldn't necessarily, if you're going to change, I would go from regular coffee to decaffeinated coffee before you go off, because you want to get off of the caffeine addiction first. Caffeine will spike your adrenaline and it'll also mess up your blood glucose. Um, it Caffeine is probably one of the worst things next to sugar that you can put in your body. Um, if you're doing this diet and you're doing, regular tea and you're doing regular coffee and you're doing anything like that, you really need to back off of that for your blood glucose and everything else to be functioning properly. So I would go to a decaffeinated first. And then, yeah, Francis, you're right. Do the decaffeinated after you get off of the decaffeinated for about 30 days, or after you do decaffeinated for about 30 days, then try doing something else that has even less, if you're doing it just for the flavor, then coffee's not really going to hurt you if it's decaffeinated. If I don't really, see any reason why. I mean, a lot of people, even Dr. Barry talks about coffee's not a big deal. It's more the caffeine that's the big deal. So that I would definitely
Mhm.
get off the caffeine.
Thanks, Ron. You know that I've been wrestling with giving up the coffee, and I've gone back.
I know.
I mean, I was going to talk about, some goals, but maybe I could do that next week. If anyone wants to join next week, or some maybe goals. And I think one of my goals is going to be really getting off coffee and giving it an actual real long try. Because last time it was like a month, but yeah.
Well, just go decaffeinated for a while.
Huh?
Go
I know
decaffeinated.
I've done that. I know.
So
Yeah. I'm
do
not
it.
sure. I'm not sure if the caffeine's the problem. I think it might be the other stuff in the coffee. If that
Really?
makes sense. Because I've actually cut out coffee and took caffeine pills and felt fine, but didn't have I didn't get the same kind of I don't know, I didn't crash the same as like drinking coffee for some reason. But
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Here she is.
my wife. I was like, why the heck?
She's
Why?
telling on you. She's telling on you.
Yeah. There was like, man, I got a headache. What is wrong? I was like, yeah, that was
Well, I
deep.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. What is Cindy saying? They don't know how damaging.
Quack, quack. That's
Hey,
Nicole.
Nicole.
Look at Nicole. She's here. I'm
What-
waiting for her to roast that vegan guy. I got to see that.
No.
He's so
Nicole-
annoying.
Nicole has got short girl problems. If you saw her last video, I don't know if it was members only or what, but she met Christy in California, the Meeting Wellness, who was in the chat just a little while ago.
Yeah.
And Christy's taller than Nicole. And that's kind of funny. Yeah, there she is. She's there. But just that whole video, you need to watch it because it's hilarious watching them too.
Imagine if any of these carnivores ever meet me, they're going to be in shock.
Because you're 6'6".
6'6".
Yeah.
The only one that I think I'll look good next to would be Sean Baker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even look at next to Sean.
If you meet him, I want you to go. Just do this for me. Just go up there and say, put your fingers out like this. Say tickle party.
To who?
Sean
Dr.
Baker.
Sean Baker. Yeah. When you meet him one day.
I wonder what that would do.
Huh?
I wonder what that would do.
I have no idea, but tickle party. See what happens.
Oh, that's too much.
It doesn't work co-ed, so it would have to be a guy.
Okay.
Yeah, see, Susan has a pretty good idea there about coffee, and that's probably what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things so for me specifically, it's kind of an idol, right? I'll turn to that for comfort.
Yeah. See, I never acquired the taste. I never have been able to drink coffee.
It tastes like crap.
Of course it does. Coffee is nasty.
It's nasty. It tastes like crap. There's nothing about it that's good, and that's not the point. It's like that I just have that addictive personality. If it's something that can make me feel different, I have a tendency to want to run to it.
Yeah.
I know here in Miami, they run on coffee. They have Cuban coffee, cafecito. Those little cups of that. It's like motor oil. It's like, what is that? Used motor oil? No, that's cafecito. I don't want nasty stuff. They boil that up. That stuff is disgusting. And it smells strong.
Yeah, I know there's a Vietnamese coffee that has condensed milk in it and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure that's all sugar.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, so Storm Lily is it's a ritual in the morning, and so I broke that ritual when I was just drinking hot cups of salted or smoked salted water. It actually tasted better than coffee.
There you go.
So, I mean, I just I haven't showed any, but I had the Redmond smoked salt, but I had this different brand, Malderin or something, smoked salt. And I just it's smoked sea salt, put that in hot water, and it tastes like bone broth. And it tastes way better than coffee. But when I drink the coffee, I think it's going to give me a boost. So
why would you even need a boost?
Because I'm weak-minded, I think. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I have a high stress load, and I don't give myself breaks, and I have a hard time relaxing. And And I think honestly, I think it's the coffee that's doing it. So I'm going to try to get off the coffee, really give myself time to heal and just to be myself without extra. If that makes sense.
I never liked coffee in my whole life. I don't know. I must be the oddball.
Yeah.
No, I don't drink
Yeah.
coffee. Never have, never will. Now, what kind of tea is your wife drinking? Because she put a comment down there that she, because of her elimination diet, she got it off of it, but she drinks tea. So what kind?
I don't know. She has 1,200 different kinds of tea all of a sudden. I
My
called
wife has two go-to teas. It's Bigelow cinnamon stick and the vanilla caramel tea. That's the two she likes.
Yeah, but she has a whole drawer of tea now. She's an aficionado.
All of them.
Hmm.
The Jarling tea, huh? That's what
Mm.
Cindy loves.
Yeah, these people are going to town on here. Look, the
A lot of
time
comments.
it's already after 10, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna
No,
probably
it's not.
call
It's only 9 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get up early tomorrow and do checking at church, and then I'm teaching 4th and 5th graders. So
Oh,
that's
before we
another.
leave,
I can't do tickle party with them either because
yeah, we won't go through
Tickle party.
that. But
That's
okay,
funny.
if anybody has Apple TV, um, we got the 3 month trial membership just recently because my wife wanted to watch that lessons in chemistry. And the lessons in chemistry, I mean, it's got some things in it that I don't recommend, like language and one scene. There's two or three scenes that are really not that great, but she talks about she cooked. This is like based in the late '60s, and she cooked with tallow, and they wanted her. The sponsor of it was some kind of shortening company, and she didn't want to do it because of all she was saying because of all the stuff that was in that shortening. She didn't want to tout it. She's a scientist, and
Mhm.
basically she didn't want to push that on the people that were watching her cooking show. But she basically caved in because the people that own the station and everything. But then she was talking about she was talking about how seed oils were bad, and um, she was talking about how bad that was, and that she was cooking with tallow and everything. And it was just really interesting to see a show on mainstream, or a show that's out there in a series that was actually talking about how bad seed oils were.
Mm.
Hmm.
And it was like in the last couple of episodes of the series of the first season. And I really thought that was interesting, the fact that they would bring that up and talk about how bad they were. So if you got it, I would warn you about watching it because of the language. And there's a scene of suicide, and there's a scene of somebody basically being raped.
Mm.
So I would skip probably the first 4 or 5 episodes and then watch the last three or so, because that's
So
when she talks about that.
what's the name of the thing you're talking about?
Lessons in chemistry.
Oh, okay.
It has what's her name? The one that's in Captain Marvel. Um, the lady that's in Captain Marvel. She's the
I know who
main
you're talking
actress in
about.
it. I can't think of her name right now, but
I'm horrible with
she
pop
actually
culture.
she actually does a really good job in this movie. And um, anyway, not a movie, it's a series. So we watched it and it was really good. Brie Larson, there you go. That's who it is. But it's a really good series as far as the science aspect and food nutrition and everything, and how this girl was actually stealing her daughter's lunch because of how well her food was and how balanced it was. And one scene was that basically, the guy who's father of the girl that was stealing the lunch or taking the lunch, she said, "My daughter eats well." She goes, "I know because she's taking my daughter's lunch." So, um, it's really interesting to watch.
The person you're looking at in the chat is Maggie White, the rancher.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Canada.
All right, let's call it for this week, guys.
All right.
Yeah. Hope to see you guys next week if you're available, or anyone else who wants to hop on, tell their story.
I'm usually around.
Yeah.
I don't know about that tickle party,
Physically-
but I'll have to see what that happens.
You're physically around.
I'm physically around.
All right.
I'll have a tickle party with the ducks.
I'll be around shape for probably a few more months. So
See y'all.
I'm so skinny I could be a vegan. But I don't think I have the vegan face.